It's high time we updated you on the war in Ukraine. Ukrainian forces have recaptured 6,000 square kilometres of territory from the Russian invaders this month, marking Moscow's worst defeat in the 6.5-month war. This is being seen as a significant moment in this war, as you can see from this clip on CNBC.
Tide appears to be turning in Ukraine after more than 200 days of bloody and grueling fighting. Ukrainian officials say its forces have made big gains in their blitz of the country's south and especially northeast, and particularly in the Kharkiv region. See the blue on the map here? That represents the land Ukrainian forces have taken back since they started their counteroffensive 2 weeks ago. In some places, Ukrainian troops have pushed Russian forces all the way back to the northeast border. Ukrainian officials say its military has freed more than 20 settlements in the past 24 hours.
Now, for the latest out of Ukraine, I'm joined by Ukraine MP Halyna Yanchenko from the nation's capital, Kiev. Thanks for talking to us again, Helena. When you think back a few months ago, the first time we spoke to you, Kiev essentially under siege, and you were so worried about the city itself falling to the Russians. The turnaround now is quite extraordinary, and you've really pushed the Russians back to the eastern fringes of your country.
The situation, especially for the past week or 2 weeks, is really in favor of Ukraine, and we should definitely thank to, of course, Ukrainian army, but also to our Western allies, including Australia, who've been supplying heavy weapons. And actually, with the growing amount of heavy weapon, our defenders made these great successes in Kharkiv region possible. So actually, I can give you even better news from Kharkiv region. Our defenders, Ukrainian army, have liberated actually not 20, but 40 settlements and towns within the past week. So they are moving, they are doing great dynamics. And I should tell you that for us, it's very important, because for us, it's not only liberating territory, for us, it's liberating people who've been under occupation, who've been under torture of Russian soldiers. A lot of Ukrainians were kidnapped or killed, including civilians. So for us, it's very important to liberate our people, to liberate our villages and towns. And
Helena, we've seen some of those reports from those liberated towns, and people who have been under occupation for 6 months, been through a terrible time, hoping against hope to being liberated, and now they are. It's extraordinary to see that. But there's an incredible challenge for Ukraine now, isn't there? Because you need to hold those positions, and you must be worried about a Russian counteroffensive. What are your plans? What are your requests, I suppose, to the free world?
Yeah, indeed, people in the liberated cities, they were very happy. They were crying and hugging Ukrainian soldiers, said that they've been praying for half a year for Ukrainian army to be back and to liberate them. So it's very important, and indeed, it's very important to keep these successes. In order to do it, our Ukrainian army is already quite trained and creative and talented, but definitely we need constant supply of heavy weapon. And once again, I want to thank to Australia and all Australian citizens for supplying this heavy weapon. Thanks to, for example, these bushmasters, our soldiers were able to cross the rivers and move safer and quicker, and they had advantage again, to compare to Russian soldiers. So
let me just jump in there. Let me just jump in there, Helena, because I want to show our viewers, and for you to listen to as well, some footage of some Ukrainian soldiers who have been using the bushmasters in some of these latest battles, and their gratitude to Australia. Have a look.
The Bushmaster armored personnel carrier is used by the airborne forces of Ukraine to reach forward operating areas. We're grateful to the people and government of Australia for providing these to us. They were a great asset to us in liberating the areas around Kharkiv. Together, we're working towards a victory. Slava Ukraini!
Героям слава!
Helena, I wonder if firstly you can tell us what those soldiers yelled out at the end in their native tongue, and also tell us what more you need from Australia. Do you need more Bushmasters?
They cried glory to Ukraine, which is now a saying that unites all Ukrainians and is actually famous all over the world. Talking about how to keep these positions and what kind of assistance we need from the civilized world. Of course, it's heavy weapon. We definitely need more Bushmasters, and according to my information, about 20 additional units should be supplied. But we also need much more artillery that helps to liberate cities and towns. So artillery and Bushmasters are in great help. I also, by the way, wanted to say that it's very important to keep humanitarian assistance. For example, we did receive coal from Australia, which helped us to make sure that people in winter, Ukrainian people in winter, including the liberated cities, will be, actually they will have heat and they can pass winter like more or less okay. So this humanitarian assistance is also very valuable and very important.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for joining us, Helena. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Helena Yanchenko there saying more humanitarian aid, coal and the like, as well as weapons and Bushmasters would be welcome from Australia and from other countries. You'll remember the first time we spoke to Helena, who's an MP and a young mother. She was in Kiev, effectively under siege. She stayed there. She's doing the best she can to help her country. Things are looking a little bit better now than they were then, but still a long way to go.